Hello, everybody, and thanks for watching and listening to the video. In America, there has been a lot of discrimination and prejudice and bias, and there's been a lot of demonstrations of protest. There's been a lot of disgruntled people, angry people, people who have even displayed violence. And I really feel like there'll be a lot more violence to come, unfortunately, because of the way things have been going in 2017. There's been a lot of unjust laws that have been implemented more recently. We've had some things that we were hoping wouldn't take place, but as of now, in 2017, we have mass deportation of immigrants. We have a lot of laws and executive orders that have been activated through the Trump administration. So a lot of this is not uncommon to American politics and American society as a whole. So we talk about this word discrimination. So here you have it. Discrimination, prejudice, they all run hand in hand in terms of the term discrimination resulting in unfair treatment. And so a lot of people will use prejudice or they'll use bias to put other groups or social groups at a disadvantage. So we have a lot of discriminating of people of color or people who are from other countries or they speak other languages or they're from other religions or they're another gender or they're another sexuality or background or culture other than WASP culture, which is white Anglo-Saxon Protestant or white class culture, which is viewed as the dominant culture in terms of the White House and politics and in terms of economics. So in human social affairs, discrimination is treatment of or consideration of or making a distinction in favor of or against a person or thing based on the group's class or category to which the person or thing is perceived to belong rather than on individual merit. So here you have a well put together graph of black men who say each of the following statements is something that black parents should be telling their black sons. So most white people cannot be trusted. 20% say that. The police are looking for any reason to give a black man a hard time. 49% say that you should be talking to your kids about that. 52% say you'll have to work harder than white people to get the same amount of credit. Anyone can be successful, and so I believe that was in the 90th percentile. And here you have another graph that is showing a demonstration. You look at the bottom of the graph, it shows the age groups. You look at the darker color blue, it's showing the white, and the lighter color blue is showing the black. And if you read at the top of the graph, it is showing you it's really a matter of some people not trying hard enough. If blacks would only try hard enough, they could do better or achieve as well as whites. So at the bottom you see the age groups who either agree or disagree. So you notice that it changes when black males or white males tend to get older. So if you shoot all the way over And on the side, on the left, you see the percentiles, and then you see how much discrimination is there against African Americans, and then there has the black saying 46 percentile, saying a lot. Some is 42 percentile in blacks, and then you have for whites a 16 percentile, and then some who are saying 41 percentile. So there's a Pew Research Center, and this was around 2013. So you have a lot of charts, a lot of graphs, a lot of percentiles of questioning of different African Americans or white Americans, people of color, or just people in America, period, how they feel about discrimination based on white and black Americans. So there has been a lot of talk about discrimination against black American youth and black American males, and there's been a lot of protest, and there's been the issue of mass incarceration of black males in the U.S., which is a large percentage, and then men of color. It may not necessarily be black, they could be Latin descent, or a non-white racial background. And so you'll have many protests that we have seen, and I'll be honest to say that unfortunately I believe there are going to be a lot more protesting. There's going to be a lot more displays of violence. There's going to be a lot more discord in America because of the way things have been going. So I have to repeat that. But the thing is that a lot of times people don't talk about the fighting within cultures, and particularly in the African American culture, there has been discrimination amongst blacks, discriminating other blacks and other genders, other sexualities, other religions, other people of social class, in terms of whether they're a wealthy black or they're a poor black, educated black or non-educated or less educated black. And a lot of times those issues are not brought to the forefront. A lot of times the issues that are brought to the forefront are the more evident issues that people see on the media, which is black males that are racially profiled, or they're mistreated, and they deal with a lot of police brutality, which is not synonymous to black females, who also are mistreated and often brutally attacked, and they deal with also similar police brutalities, but you never often hear that being placed in the forefront. It's more about how males are treated rather than how all black people, male and female alike, are treated. And these are the issues that have come up more often about young black males who have been, and they have rightfully so, a reason to protest and to feel that they should have a voice in how they've been treated here in America, but also black females as well. A lot of times you have the American culture where there's a lot of misogyny, and there's a lot of looking at who is the dominant, who is in control here, or who should be in control. And a lot of times that control is supposed to be placed on only the males. Women are only to procreate, have babies, and not speak out on social issues and the rights of females. because the males come first. Because the males are supposed to be looked at as the protectors. So, although we do have issues of black males having an unfair advantage in terms of American culture and politics and work world and education and whatnot, we have had a lot of progress. But racism is still alive in every aspect of the word, and it has really, really ruined a lot of lives. And it has ruined a lot of the American culture and has left a shame upon American politics and culture. But it also has to do with a lot which people don't want to talk about: economics. So money is involved in a lot of this as well. And so you have religion. So you have Christianity. And Christianity also, we're learning, and those who hadn't learned, that it plays a role, even though they want to separate the whole aspect of church and state, or church and politics and whatnot. Church is politics. And so if you look at what is being said and you really examine some of those scriptures, they separate gender. They separate males and females, and they put them in certain roles. And so what does that say about today's culture? It doesn't say that everyone is equal. And so that is into question as well. Religious freedom, or the freedom to not be a part of religion. Those things are very evident now in American culture. And you have the black American culture, who pretty much was rooted in white religion, given the Bible as slaves and taught to believe in the afterlife would be better than the life that you have been handed. There has been improvements, but who are you praying to, and who are you exalting, and who are you believing in? There's so many problems with the issue of race and white versus black, but it's crazy, because what makes it so crazy is that the very people that people were praying to and believing in, and the people that we're looking at in these Bibles and on these pictures, were white. So basically you're worshiping the very people who have oppressed you. And then you turn around and oppress one another. You're gay, you're educated, you think you're better than the other blacks, you move out of the black neighborhood, you're a sellout. Then you have people who, they talk about each other's hair. If they're a mixed black or if they're a non-mixed black, they're discriminating each other based on your eye color, your hair texture, or who your grandmother was, or who you're half of this, half white, half black, you're a half breed. There's all kinds of prejudices within the black culture. And you could be a black person married to someone that is not black, and you're discriminated against. You're maybe a part of another religion. You speak a different language, but you're a black person, but you come from another country, and you feel like you're intimidated or discriminated against, or it's the other way around. You'll have somebody coming from another country, and they're black, and they have another language, and they kept a culture that black Americans were basically stripped of languages and other cultures, so they had to create their own culture here in America. And you're discriminated against other blacks coming from another country, or who have a culture that they've held on to and hasn't been stripped away from them. So there's a lot of things going on. And then you have what people feel you have to choose a side. Either you're American or you're from somewhere else. And so you have people that come from other countries and they're happy to be from wherever other country that they're from. And they want to be a part of American culture, but they don't want to be a part of American culture. See? And they don't like Americans, or they don't like American culture. They like their culture. And they don't want to attribute to American culture, but they want to abuse the systems of American culture and feed off of that. Then you have the issues of blacks who, have we really moved ahead? Have we really made advances? You have a high level of education as a black man or black female in society, and you get hired on a job and you're treated differently. You know it and you feel it in your gut that you were really hired because they don't have any other blacks to fill that spot. So you feel like a token black. The same with colleges and universities. You know, pick one, USC. USC is a private university. And from what I read more recently is that it's a school where they don't have very many black professors. And that's not by accident. But I've also learned that they don't have a lot of black students. But they do have students that if you have a high GPA and if you have athletic abilities, you have a higher chance of getting into a school like that. Now the treatment, I can't tell you how that would be. But I have heard that there has been some discriminating with that school in the past, USC, here in California and Los Angeles. And then you have the police brutality in the LA area, which has a history of abuses to black citizens. Okay? So you have also this face of black women. You have women who are black Americans who they're kind of left out of this whole mix. But you're in it and you're out of it. You're in it because you're black, but you're out of it because of a gender, being a woman. Okay, so you have this black women who have been mistreated by the police. They've been mistreated as being female, and you've been mistreated if your skin is darker than your lighter skinned black females. If your hair texture is not long and it's not straight or it's not curly. So these are two black women, and a lot of times you have a lot of ignorance out there. A lot of people assume that all black people are a darker hue in color. But you have a lot of black people who are also different shades, different complexions, different hair textures, different skin colors. And within the black culture, there's discrimination amongst each other. Whether you're a light skin, whether you're a darker skin, whether you're in between hues of skin color, your hair texture, how you look, your eye color, who your parents, who your grandparents were, what you speak, what you know, where you come from, how you were raised. Some people were raised in different cities, different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds, maybe of a different religion, maybe a different country, maybe they have different ideologies about life and how they live, and every black person is not synonymous in terms of culture. So there's different cultures, different backgrounds, and you have issues with hair. So hair is a big issue for black females, black males. and black females especially. So as children, as young black females, you know, women, girls, how you look is a huge issue. How your hair looks. What do you look like when you go to school? Is your hair straight? Is your hair pressed? Is your hair curly? Is your hair in dreads? Is it nappy? Are you happy with your own natural hair, or do you perm your hair? Do you put treatments and colors in it? And so we have this growing up all through our childhood on up and in your teen years, which is pivotal based on how you look and your hair. And that's with any teenager. So imagine being an African American teen or a black teen female, and how your hair looks, how your eyes look, how your face looks, how your skin looks, how your body shape, structure, what you speak, what you say, where you come from, everything is crucial. Even if others don't say it, you feel it. It's how you are perceived, especially in American society. So you have this beautiful black woman who has what some people would think the start of dreads or twists. Maybe she's not going to let her hair mat, but some people view it as beauty, and others may say, oh, that's not the way you can come to work. You're going to get discriminated. You can't come to work looking like that. But if you wear braids or anything like that, it's either looked at as beauty or it's looked at as we can't have that. But if a white female, such as Khloe Kardashian or any famous white female, if she comes with a style that is primarily a style that is culturally based and rooted in African culture, she's viewed as being, wow, so beautiful. How long did it take for that to be put in your hair? You know, just looked at in another way. You know, the lighter skin, the whiter skin. But you're taking a culture and using it to your own advantage. So you have black women who, some people are wondering if all black women have an issue where they don't have their own hair, they have fake hair. Now, I've seen white women and other women of non-black cultures who are wearing wigs and who are wearing weaves, and that seems to be a trend. It's not just a culture thing. It may be a culture in terms of beauty world, but not in terms of necessarily primarily just race. But it has been coined that most black women, if they have lengthy hair, that it must not be their own, which is untrue. And so you have images like this. In the white culture, or a culture that isn't black, the father and the mother are together, and in the black culture, you see a single mother. And people always will bring up the single mom when it comes to black people or black women. And see how this hurts black females? See how these labels and these stereotypical views, they show up in things like this. So in the perception of just regular people, when you see this, you think, okay, this is normally accepted. This is what's going on. This is, you see this black woman, she's by herself with a child, and there's no father around. But you see these other women, and there's a father around. And these are the stereotypes that are perpetuated out there. And so this is what warps American society, and it causes people to have a consensus that, oh, black women must be single, or they're undesirable, or they're always by themselves with children. And it's always placed in their lap as if it's their fault. And then you have this right here. black women are discriminated against by white women, just as black males are discriminated against by white males or white society. And so you also have race hating coming from white women. But you have black males who will marry white women and turn around and tell black women that they're undesirable and that they would rather be married to women who are not of color. But behind all of that, you have this privileged culture, or this culture of white Americans who want a white America. They don't want anyone from any other background to infiltrate that privilege and that culture. So here what you're looking at is you're looking at USC students. And I'm going to use that as an example because recently we had a rapper by the name of Dr. Dre who basically gave money and donated money to this university, which wasn't an HBCU university, which HBCU universities were more in need of money. And these universities that were more in need of money have a higher percentage of students of color. And USC has a less percentage of students of color. And they've had a history of discrimination against people of color or people who are who are not white. And so when you see black people drinking and having a party, it's viewed as something negative, and you see white people having a party, it's supposed to be something positive. It's supposed to be uplifting. It's just kids having fun. It's the same thing. It really is. So what you're looking at here is Trojans USC, and these are straws. You know what these straws are for? They're drinking straws for alcohol. USC has a university row. They have certain, sororities and fraternities. And those sororities and fraternities, and this happens in all of the universities, they'll have sororities and fraternities at, real prestigious colleges, and they have parties. But when it's young people of color, it's viewed sometimes differently as those thugs, or they're a gang, or they're a group of hoodlums. But when it's the same thing happening at a white university with white students, and they're having their drinking straws and their drinking games, like you see this is called BATTLESHOTS game. It's a drinking game. They play this game, and I guess whoever, I don't know particularly how it goes, but I can imagine that if you lose, you have to drink several shots of alcohol, and I mean strong alcohol. And a lot of the grocery stores around the USC area, which primarily the closest grocery stores are like Smart and Final and Ralph's grocers, are heavily stocked with alcohol. And around, game time, season, if there's celebrations, some of it is in all fun and innocence, but some of it is very, very deadly. Some people will look at that as they're just a group of young USC students having a ball. This is a drinking game they're playing. This is on University Row in the Adams district of USC. And a lot of times these college students, these are your future doctors, lawyers, judges, police officers, and their parents are like judges, lawyers, doctors, police officers, probably paralegals, and in high positions like city officials, probably politicians as well, that have their students attend these universities. But this is what their kids are doing. They're, being young people. If you change the color of these students, and if they were black, they'd look like a bunch of hoodlums to someone who would use their bias or their racial prejudice. But if it's white students, they're just a group of college kids and they're having a good time. If you flip it and you use white students, college students from USC, having a party. They're having fun, you know, drunk girls, you know, girls gone wild, whatever. This is USC girls, you know, having a party. But if it's black girls, they look like sluts and everything that's not nice. So you see that there are white people who also carry on, where they hang out and they drink and they, you know, they're loud and they do ghetto stuff. And it's just the same thing. It's just you have a different race or a different group of people doing it. You know, they're in gangs. I've seen white people in the USC area that look like this. You know, they're in gangs, or they have their own cliques, their own groups that they hang with, and they're fighting. Loud music coming out of their stereo systems. You know, but if it's someone black, they're looked at as a thug. If it's black women fighting, you have those videos that crop up on World Star, hip hop. It's always the blacks fighting, or it's the Hispanics fighting. You never see the white girls that are fighting. They fight too. Pull hair. They're in gangs. They hang out. They're drinking. They're sleeping with different guys at these drinking parties at the USC area. There you hear about the scandals that go on, you know, and a lot of times you have a lot of young white women who will come into the grocery store and they don't have any underwear on. And they walk in there like that all the time. And if you look at them like you're going to hurt them, you're going to go to jail, you know. And it happens. You have white sororities. And this is where the privilege, these are USC girls, USC, and it's a culture where this is our country, this is America, and we're important and we're beautiful and we run this. And that's the attitude, the privilege. We can go to whatever school we want, do whatever we want, sleep with whomever we want, look like however we want, and we still come up on top. That is the whole thing with white privilege. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, when you say white privilege, they say, oh, there's no white privilege, but we're experiencing this now in this American society. You have now Donald Trump, who is the president, and he is calling the shots, and they're exercising their power. And it may be extremely punitive and biased and prejudiced and racist, but this is the whole ideology of white culture and privilege and control. So now we have not only the racial discrimination, and we have gender discrimination. Now you have black females who are educated, always looked down on because of color. But once you become educated, does that make life easier for you? Not necessarily. Maybe for some, but that's not everybody's case. So here's where we come into black females who are educated, who have gone to college. Even if they have children and they're single, or maybe they're married, maybe they're not single. There could be many things going on here. So a lot of times black females will go to, you know, colleges like Spelman, Howard University, some of your UC universities, HBCU colleges, get well educated, maybe go to school and then get out of college and then land a nice job, be able to support herself. But the problems we have here, we have young black males who don't do the same thing. They don't go to school, or they don't finish school, or they drop out of school. Or if they finish school and they do go to college and they do become someone, they marry someone who is not black and discriminate black females. Talk about black females, put down black females, make videos about how they hate black females, how black females have destroyed the black culture, when black females are black too, and they are a part of the black culture just as black males are a part of the black culture, and they have been discriminated just the same and worse, because now you're not only being discriminated against by whites, but you're being discriminated against by other black males who are black, who don't want you to succeed because they're upset because either they're not achieving or they've achieved, and they just despise the fact that, oh wow, I don't even want to recognize my culture because I'm with a white woman because I'm higher class. So you have black females who take on the roles of not only being strong black females, but they're also in what used to be male-dominated jobs. You have a group of black females here, and they're firefighters. So they're taking on these stereotypical jobs that were once only dominated by males. And they're also taking on another identity as well. You have some black females, not all, some who are gay, lesbian, and they're discriminated against because they have chosen to be honest about their sexuality. And so you're not only getting discriminated from your own race for, skin color, hair, eye color, if you're half black, half white, but your sexuality and your gender. So you have black LGBT women who are happy to be black, happy to be a woman, and happy to be, successful. But they're also women that are not only of color, but they're women who are lesbian, and they're proud of who they are, but they're not accepted in their own culture by all blacks, because there's the issues within our own culture of hate and discrimination and bias against one another based on social class, how you look, how you talk, where you come from, and who you are, how much money you make, what schools, colleges you attended, whether you're straight or gay or lesbian or trans. If you're a feminist, what are your political views? You don't put black males first? Oh, you just want to focus on black females? You're a feminist? So you're discriminated against. There's different types of feminists. People don't realize that. They just go with the feminists who are more radical and who are more brute in terms of making their political point. And so you're discriminated if you're a famous black woman and you come out as gay or lesbian or whatever, queer. This is Wanda Sykes, a comedian who she's a very high profile figure in the black community, but primarily in the gay and lesbian black communities. And then you have all the different cultures who have been stereotyped based on blacks. My hair, Asians. I can actually see you. Their eyes. Religions. Muslims are not all terrorists. And so on and so forth. Hispanic, Latino culture, and they assume that everybody is Mexican. And then whites. They call all white people trash, or assume that everybody does the same things, which we know that's not true, but a lot of times it's viewed as white people are perfect, white people have everything together, they're educated, and then they're more socially acceptable, and they control America and American society and call the shots, and that they don't have any negativity. It's always the only thing negative about white people is always viewed as is that they have racism. But you never see the ones that are in terms of being ghetto or coined as ghetto. So we're all Americans. But if we let class dividers and race baiters win, then there will be no America. But you know what? There is a lot of race baiting. Some might even say that they think, well, just talking about this, they think, is that race baiting? But no, you're actually merely bringing everything to the forefront. You're putting it all out there. There's a lot of anger in American society amongst all groups. Also, the black women are being stereotyped and being divided within the culture, the black culture. I'm black, but I am not